GM friends. Oops. Remember to start my stream. There we go.
Hey, Jim. Can you
GM
guys
Coder Dan, how are you doing this morning?
doing well, sir? How are you? You guys can hear me, right? Can you hear me? Okay.
Oh, got you. Okay.
Nice.
Yes,
All
can hear
right.
you.
Never know. All right, let's get the gang filing in here. How's everyone doing? Last week of October, heading into it here. Been a very, very busy month here at Pixelcraft. And yeah,
Yeah,
web. Yeah.
getting that test net up and running. We got the Geist encounters running. So you guys are busy getting the main net ready, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Been doing a lot of work with the bridging and the UX and everything. Just we working with Alchemy on that. The yesterday we shipped Geist Encounters week 2. So if you guys have not started the encounters, I'm actually behind on mine. I need to do mine. Definitely head over to the Geist announcements channel and check that out. But yeah, I'm excited about the encounters. Those are going to last for about 8 weeks. So it's going to take us right up until the Christmas holiday. And there's going to be lots of fun stuff to test on Polter Testnet. So mainnet will be live while that's happening, but we'll be rolling out new content first on Polter and letting people try it on Polter first before it goes on to testnet onto mainnet. Lost Local GM.
Yeah, that's exciting. For the bridge, will the bridge live on the native Aavegotchi DApp or will we have to go to another site?
Yeah, so there's going to be 2 places you can bridge. If you want to go from base, then you'll be using the native Arbitrum like base to Geist Arbitrum orbit bridge. And if you want to go from Polygon to Geist, then you'll be using Socket. And if there, that'll also eventually support like other, if there's any other chains that we want to support. Or for example, if you, I think that eventually we will be able to support things like someone being connected on base or like Arbitrum or Blast or like whatever network through Socket, you'll be able to make a transaction on Geist. That's called chain abstraction. So that's the really cool thing with Socket that we'll be working with them to get that live. But initially, we're working right now actually on finalizing the Polygon to Geist flow. It's a little bit complicated, but we're almost there. And so if we, I think we are going to be going live and putting the mainnet out next week on Halloween. So most likely, unless we've finalized that, it'll be going from base directly, and we'll just link people over to the Arbitrum bridge. It takes about 3 minutes. I did it actually today, and it's a very, very smooth experience.
Excellent. Yeah. I've been playing around a little bit with Ape Chain, which is kind of a similar flow. You know, the whole
Yep.
Arbitrum L3.
Yep.
Um, for them, they allow you to bridge multiple assets in terms of different coins. Like I know our gas and main token will be Ghost, but will this bridge on launch enable us to send like ETH over, or will it just be Ghost and Alchemica?
I think initially the Arbitrum, like the one from base, it does support any token as far as I know. We just have to map the tokens onto Geist. But I think day one, it's probably just going to be Ghost. It's going to take like we're going to put a blog post out next week, basically outlining all this. but it's not like a one and done day one, everything is up experience. It's going to take a little bit of time to finalize all the migrations of everything, just because we've accumulated a lot of stuff over the years as an ecosystem. And unlike things like Ape, where they literally just have one token, I don't think they're bridging the actual apes over. You just keep them on mainnet because they're on mainnet. Our whole thing is we're kind of leaving Polygon, so we have to move. We have to get up and move house, which takes considerably considerably more time than just moving a single token. So that's it's going to be a process. I'm aiming personally to have everything complete and possible to migrate by the end of November, uh, and and then really working focusing on the chain experience and making sure that we have things like chain abstraction working. So it really becomes like there's no friction to be able to transact on Geist.
Amazing. When we see the launch of, I know I'm like asking all these questions about Geist, but I figure I'll do it now while I have you. Um, with the launch of Geist, will we also see the launch of the native Dex Camelot on Geist at the
Mhm.
same time as the bridge?
Yep, Camelot will be launching either like day one or very quickly. We're in contact with that team and just keeping them abreast of everything. Whether there will be actually like any tokens, those might come a day or two in, like being able to move WETH over. I anticipate the first pair that we're going to get probably set up is going to be Ghost WETH. It'll actually be, yeah, it'll be Ghost. Call it Ghost ETH or W. I think it'll be W Ghost ETH. Something we haven't talked about is we have this because Ghost is the native token of the chain. When you bridge it over, you get Ghost. But like as you guys are familiar, if you do any LPing or DeFi, you have to wrap your tokens. So we're also going to have a version of Ghost called Wrapped Ghost, which is basically the same thing as WETH, Wrapped ETH, except it's Ghost. So the first pair on Camelot will probably be Wrapped Ghost and ETH together.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, exciting.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's gonna be, it's gonna take a little bit of time. We gotta get everything set up and functional. It's not gonna be done in a day, but we're gonna have our own home finally. Uh, I think it just fit like it just opens up a much different design space, not having to pay gas to Polygon validators or some other public chain validators anymore. I think it's just a really exciting thing to have our own block space and yet be connected back to other blockchains. Like I'm really convinced this is how we're going to like every game, every DApp or ecosystem. It's gonna eventually be on its own chain. It's gonna be a great experience, especially once we have things like chain abstraction and yeah, gotchis are finally gonna go home, leaving our ancestral home to find kind of greener pastures.
Yeah, they do say that Gotchi Rome was not built in one day, so we have to. We're building it brick by brick,
Yeah. Chain by chain, block. I guess block by block, we should
block
say.
by block. Yeah. So like with the lead up to Geist, like what is the team's focus? Like I know you were saying the bridging stuff. What other stuff is like the main focus going into next week? Because we're coming up, you're saying Halloween, that's 5 days
Hmm.
from now. So like what are the big things, I guess the loose ends that have to be handled?
Right now, it's mainly ensuring that we're able to have Ghost on mainnet, like day one, having a smooth experience for everyone to get their Ghost onto the chain. And then we're cooking up a little bit some like simple minting that people will be able to do on the chain to prove that you were there, day one, that you were OG member of the chain. So that's a main thing that we're working on, and then the other is these memberships, the membership contract that is being reviewed right now. You guys are actually testing it as we're doing this Geist encounters. Haven't seen any issues so far. So just the membership contract where you'll be able to go on and claim your you guys as Gotchi gang. Everyone here, I'm sure, has at least one Gotchi. You'll be getting the special invite code where you don't have to go and ask someone for an invite code. You'll if you have a Gotchi by October 30th, you'll be getting that special invite code, which gives you a full year membership of Geist. And so you'll that's one of the things we want to make sure is live basically on day one is being able to go on there, put your invite code in, and claim your unique Geist ID on chain. So those obviously we can't do that without Ghost. So we want to make we're trying to get Polygon Ghost over there. It's a little bit complex because we're there's like an unwrapping process that that we have to do with Socket, but almost there. So in terms of like must-have functionality, those are some of the main ones. The other ones are like we're prepping the some of the campaigns, like Gotchi points. That's not going to go live on day one, but we're trying to have that go live as soon as possible. And then things like the Gotchi verse. Jesse and the Realm team have been cooking up some experiences that they want to have live, uh, on doing things on chain in the Gotchi verse within the first like week or two.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it's
Good.
not going to be there. Things like Camelot will be launching within the first week, and then like we're not we talked about actually we talked about it a while back. Do we want to have something like a pump fund on or like a Geist fund on day one? But we talked about it quite a bit, probably 2 months ago, and decided like it's not something that we believe would be really beneficial to the culture to have on day one. So we're not going to launch like Ape Chain did with their pump fund, which I mean I don't think it's like really it was kind of a cool thing to do on day one, but it doesn't really seem to be like adding that much in terms of interest to the chain. Uh, but we're more focused on the gaming side anyway. I do think eventually we will have a kind of a meme coin factory, but it's not something we wanted to really put a ton of effort into on day one.
Yeah, it's fair. Actually, I had a question because I saw Zbot's comment about 100-year membership, which is in jest. But do you foresee ever offering up subscriptions that are multi-year at like a discount to get people kind of in the door and
Mhm.
getting that cash up front?
Yeah, I think right now it's the longest is 1 year, but we may once in a while do like promotions where you can get longer memberships if you are so inclined. Potentially, Cyber Monday is coming up fairly soon, so it could be something we might offer.
Nice. Yes. And then I guess my last question is people will start migrating their Ghost over to Geist in the coming week once the bridge is up and ready and start, playing around with the deck stuff once that's ready. Will Snapshot be up to date to count the voting power that's moved over
Great
to
question.
Geist?
So, yeah, Snapshot. There we have. It's on our task list. They have a like a multi-chain like a strategy that we will need to get deployed. I haven't reached out to the Snapshot team, but it's on the list of outreach to do. That like once we're on Geist, we need to do a full pass on Snapshot anyway, to make sure that we're counting like all the different ghosts on base and Geist and any left on Polygon. They do have I think it's like Snapshot Pro or Premium or like they do have a paid plan, and so we're going to look at that as well and see if that's needed because we are in terms of like strategies we're quite complex as an ecosystem, but it's not going to be done immediately, but it's high of our priority list to get the Snapshot deployed onto Geist.
Nice. Yeah. Keep that in mind, friends, when you're putting out your Sega and core props.
Yeah, yeah. Quorum again. It's quorum is not an easy thing to reach right now. Which even for our prop, at the end we're looking at be like, man, we're kind of at the edge here. We're about in terms of active voting power. It seems like there's about a 1 million ghost surplus. It seems to be or 500K to 1 million ghosts. So in terms of meeting quorum, I think we're a little bit close to the edge here. But I think that's just mainly because some of the voting power is on base, and as we go over to Geist as well, it's going to get splintered a little bit more. But we are going to work with Snapshot to get that figured out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Let's see. I had a thought, but I forgot it as I was reading the comments here. Uh, is the sandbox props? Oh, I was going to talk about. We're also trying to get. We're working with Alchemy to get Open Zeppelin Defender and Safe, like Gnosis Safe, the Safe multi-sig deployed onto Geist as soon as we can. It takes them a little bit of time. Once the mainnet is up, we're working on a deployment for that as well. So we want to have all the basic like DAO infrastructure done as soon as we can, so we can start setting up wallets for the treasury, and just in general, it's a good thing to have things like Gnosis Safe on the chain.
Oh, also, we see there's a question from Faye. Speaking of quorum, is the sandbox prop successful or is the spread not big enough? I believe the spread wasn't big enough, correct?
Yeah, I think it's got to be 10%, and I think it was a very tight vote. So I was just chatting with the GFA team. I said, I think the community, we like the sandbox project. I think maybe just they need to think about the deliverables and the budget, and then think about how that project can generate revenue back to the DAO a little bit more. I mean, as far as it's a great showpiece for the ecosystem, but we now that it's live, I'm not. It seems like the community is signaling maybe we want to go a different direction with it.
Yeah, GFA actually in their, I believe it was in the DAO discussion or in the DAO forum post for the sandbox experience, it was seeking some feedback. So definitely go and check that channel out, friends, if you have any comments and want to jump in and let them know what you think. Yeah, tight vote, 51 to 49. So definitely on the edge there.
Yeah, yeah. We haven't had a tight one like that in a while. But now that we are on our own chain, I think there's a lot of uh, room for people to build cool stuff on like natively on Geist. If GFA wanted to do an actual like game experience or some sort of on-chain experience on Geist, I think they could also like knock it out of the park with that. There's got to be, even if it's not sandbox, maybe there's some other cool things we could do just on natively on Geist. Ziba, I see you're talking about fake gotchis. Curious, like that's one question that I wanted to actually ask on this hangout. Do you guys think that we should bridge the current fake gotchis over, and like we would redeploy the contract and bridge the existing ones over and continue minting with the same cards? Or should we like make a new series of fake gotchis on Geist? I don't know how many cards are left, probably like 1,000 or 1,200. So you guys think we should bridge the cards over and like keep the series going on Geist? Yeah, that's what we were planning to do anyway. Once we finish those cards, we can do the next series or whatever happens with that. Great. Yeah, I can't wait to see some Geist themed fake gotchis art. The other thing we're talking about is like doing some sort of either a hackathon or a game jam or something combined early on in Geist. Like I would love to do. I want to get people building stuff on Geist, uh, especially things like around all these AI agents and uh, doing things like letting AI roam on chain. I think is such an interesting idea, on especially on these kind of super low fee chains. They can have some fun. So I would love to do, and we're probably going to organize some sort of hackathon for to get some developers building on Geist.
Yeah, good old hackathon. We haven't done one of those in a while, so I think that would draw a lot of attention. And
Yeah, yeah. I
GM,
might even I want to join it too. I'm gonna. Can I join my own hackathon? I need the. It's we've been so busy with all the deployments. I was getting ready right before this call. I was getting ready to make a meme of you know that there's like the monk that's like praying, and then there's like the late like the wench trying to tempt him. I feel like that right now. Trying to I'm just trying to get this blockchain launched, and then this all the AI gotchis are calling to me, man. Like they're like, bring us to life, bring us to life. I was like, I will. I just need to launch the chain first. But those gotchis wanna talk. They wanna roam on chain.
GM
So
guys. Yo, yo.
yo,
Yeah, yeah. Just walked in on a nice little AI conversation, huh? There's so much happening.
yeah. I yeah, I don't I will I've been watching the stuff with like virtuals and Luna. I'm
Mm,
like waifus are waifus are such a they're such a meme in crypto. We're not doing a waifu project in a we're kind of more kid friendly, but there's got to be something like without waifu innuendo that we can do as a crypto project, like and like suitable for work, kind of SFW kind of experiences, a little bit more
yeah,
kid friendly.
yeah. As
But the
the
waifu stuff is taken off.
yeah, and that's like a wide part of a wider companion, digital companion, like space that's going to grow
Yeah,
a lot next few years. So yeah, waifus dominate right now. There'll be room for other kinds of purpose-built companions. Ours are just ghosts on a blockchain. They just want to get along and avoid existential dread.
yeah. I mean, I'm just curious. Like, I'm spending quite a bit of my free time these days just thinking like web says like when gotchi AI powered agents, like the tech is basically out there. We just got to hook it up. But I'm like trying to think what do you guys want to do with an AI gotchi, or would you want to there's so many things we can do with them, so many possibilities, or we just let them do their own thing and we just kind of watch them. And that's kind of what you're seeing with things like Luna and Truth Terminal and a couple others.
Web's on fire today. What's he talking about? I can put my instructions on chain and let people call it for ghost. That is if I'm reading that right, that's really interesting. Kind of like leaning into the decentralized on-chain aspect of it, like DAO powered AI agents. Like just one more layer. But
Yeah,
I mean,
I want to watch them hang out in the gotchi verse personally.
Yeah.
And just we'll get some NPCs in there, bring the world to life, and then we stick our gotchi friends in there with their different wearables and their different personalities, and kind of that would be entertaining to watch, I think. Yeah, Phantasma, exactly. Future of gaming right there, guys. watching watching your AI agents play games. I mean, we've gone from playing games to watching streamers play games, and now we're watching AI play games. And people are going to create reaction videos to the AI agents playing their games. I mean, that's where we're going.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like when you step back and look at Aavegotchi, there does seem to be an obvious AI play there. We were, even with the lore, like the liquidators are
Mhm.
powered by evil AI, and yet the gotchis exist, and they got all these on-chain traits. They're like ready for somebody to plug in, and
Yeah.
with the way AI is going, it might not just happen. It might happen in 10 different ways, right? Like,
Hmm.
so very exciting. And it generates a lot of conversation here in the chat. It's a pretty good little conversation going.
Yeah, I think it's like a big space to explore, and we're still very early to that. So we get this chain up, and then let's do some hackathons. Let's get some creativity going. Get the latest models. We'll set Claude versus, you know, a 0.1 preview, and just see what happens with these gotchis, where they go with them. Put some ghost in their pocket. Give them access to the bazaar.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. They literally can live in the blockchain. Like, you wake up and your gotchi made 10 trades, like totally
Right.
changed out his wearable set. like, what did you do?
Yeah.
None of it matches. Your colors are clashing. But it would know that. So have to be on purpose. Yeah, bazaar parties, definitely integrations with Gotchiverse as a sandbox for AI agents is perfect. And I don't know, it could be really, really interesting. Just need my little on-chain ghost.
I was chatting with one of our actually previous and still kind of current the DAO advisor, Ross. I don't know if anyone follows him. He's been working on something pretty interesting. Still trying to figure out exactly what it can do. Has anyone seen this? It's called Nanny. No, not Nani, as I like to say, Nani. It's like building basically on-chain agents, and I was like, go deploy that on Polter. Let's get that going. So that'll be something that we get deployed on Geist as soon as possible.
Really?
I think he's already deployed it on Polter.
Oh, wow, that's great.
It fixed its ghost finding. I think the thing with these agents, like, they're not they're smart, but you have to give them a little bit of context. You can't just like put them out there and expect them to know everything about the chain. So it didn't make up tokens. Because Light Pickle was playing with it the other day. It looked at all the tokens on, and I think it went to Ethereum, and it found a token with the word ghost in it, and it was like, oh, this is ghost token, but it was actually some part of the Aragon bonding curve back in the day. So it knew Aavegotchi and it knew Ghost, but it found the wrong token. So I think those are situations where you could say, here's the token I want you to interact with. Here's the ABI of the token I want you to interact with. And this could all be automated as well. So it wouldn't be able to make any mistakes on that. Like, it would know, you need to tell it what tokens, at least, for now. You can't expect it to like just go find the perfect token out of how many like millions of tokens are there out there. Uh, give it the ABI, give it the diamonds, give it the contract address, and then it will figure out what it can do based on the ABI.
Yeah, you could preload it with basically like a script, like a prompt for just about anything, including like taking note of its personal traits and as an Aavegotchi, if it was an Aavegotchi, and and also yeah, like a cheat sheet of like all the basic knowledge it needs to know about the ecosystem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like
Pretty cool.
the prompt that you give it just kind of needs to be a little bit tailored. Otherwise, you're hoping that it's gonna figure it out, but more likely than not, it, maybe a year from now it will.
With it being the 26th, we're knocking on the door here. Are there any announcements you want to walk through today? I was thinking we might want to like just calls to action over the next week as Geist goes live. We've got Polter up. You just mentioned Nani has gone live there. I think a few people have gotten whitelisted at this point with different wallets to engage and deploy contracts like that. Is that a growing list? Are we seeing like I know I see the mailing list growing. I keep getting notifications about that growing quite quickly. But yeah, over the next few days, are there like a couple key things people should be doing other than the Geist encounters?
Well, we're going to be putting out the blog post announcing Geist on like middle of next week. So it's going to kind of give an overview of what to expect during launch day and then throughout November. But the TLDR, I think, is that the Geist encounters are going to be designed to let you experience all of the new content and all of the migrations and everything that we're going to be doing before you actually do it on mainnet. So it's like you get to test everything on testnet first and make sure and get familiar with the flow, and then you'll be able to and also like earn your role in the Discord for doing that. Get that Hochgeist, and then that content will then like shortly after go live on Geist mainnet as well. So most of the calls to action are just going to be embedded within the Geist encounters. For this week specifically, just if you haven't done week 2 of the Geist encounters yet, it's a pretty cool one. You get to start playing with the invite system, generating your codes, and also you can give those codes to others. And we're still putting the final touches on that dashboard. There's actually a lot of stuff that is not done with that dashboard, like seeing whether or not the people that you invited became members, things like that. So that flow will also be part of a future Geist Encounters mission as well, where you'll actually get to see the whether your invites converted to members.
I mean, that's a pretty cool encounter or mission. That sounds great. Start seeing those invites stack. I actually need to put a little more thought into who's going to get my invites. I don't know if you guys are on the same boat, but it's like about that time. No future, you got to be building your guild up. This is your Geist incentive program right here.
Yeah, but actually already been invited to somebody else's guild. Twan hit me up in the DMs. He's like, "Oh, I'm doing the Geist encounter." He's like, "Maybe hit my link." I was like, "I have to do my own first."
That's good. That's the way.
One thing, this is a little bit of alpha. The invites, if you have a gotchi and you were on the snapshot, when you go to that page, it'll autofill the invite code, and it's got a number in it, and it's like sys _ 365 _ da 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 da. That's your one-time use gotchi gang code. And some of you what we're basically doing is looking on chain, seeing who's got gotchi and who's recently pet it, and those are going to be eligible, and we're being very generous with the definition of recently. So if people have been AFK for the last few months, not a problem. If they come back, they're not gonna not have an invite. But that yeah, an auto pet is fine. But that invite, in case you want to give it to another wallet, you're also free to do that as well. So say you receive it in your hardware wallet and you want to give it to your hot wallet or vice versa. All you got to do is copy it and bring it over, and you'll be able to redeem it. So it's not tied to the wallet that you receive it with is the receiving wallet, but the one that redeems it doesn't have to be the same wallet. So just want to, if for the Ledger gang out there, or if you want to move that invite around, you're able to do that. We're not really, emphasizing that point in our docs or anything, but it will be possible to do that. Faye says, Gotchi's not getting pet for months. It's heartbreaking. Man, I actually was looking at the list, and there's some addresses that have not pet their Gotchi in like a year, and they have like 300 Gotchis in that wallet. It's depressing, man. They're not getting any invites. It's been too long. It really is Gotchi abuse. But it was nice to see over half of the Gotchis, actually more than half, about 12,500 had been pet within the last month. The majority of those were pet, very recently. So either people are petting or they're using Orium.
I mean, that's actually really good numbers for 4-year-old NFT project. That's really good engagement, even if it is using Orium, right? Or any other similar service. Have we talked about I see Twan's here, the shout out to the Gotchi as a bank concept he's expanding on. I don't know if he wants to stop him and talk about it, but I think it's really cool. And that's kind of just something I hope to play with soon. I don't know if it's live or what the status on that is, but it looks really like a good concept to expand on.
Yeah, he came up with that very quickly. The one thing I will say, and maybe I don't know if he's reached out to you, but Coder Dan, is it possible to transfer fake gotchis into the escrow account? Because I think he tried, but he was getting like a reversion message saying that it didn't work.
Transfer it how? Like just sending it to that account?
Yeah, like basically depositing a fake gotchi into
Right.
Aavegotchi. I figured it would be able to do it because of the wearables.
No, I think I can look at it real quick. I believe that there's this is a lot of little Solidity nerd stuff, but there's a certain function that you have to add to every contract that allows it to receive 1155s or 721s, and I don't think we support that specific function in the Gotchi, just so people can't deposit 721s into it. Because the escrow wallet is I believe it's a smart contract wallet. Like it's a very primitive smart contract wallet, and I don't think it supports NFTs.
Yeah, that'd be interesting, like a gotchi inception where you have like a gotchi inside of a gotchi.
So there is another one. There's another more sophisticated smart like kind of smart wallet or NFT wallet called Token Bound, and this was made I think a year or so ago, where you can do that. And actually, you can if you go to Aavegotchi through Token Bound, you are actually able to you can log into the DApp as your Aavegotchi. I was playing with this a while back,
Yeah, I
and
remember this.
you're able to like log in via Wallet Connect through Token Bound and sign in as your Aavegotchi's Token Bound wallet. Yeah, it's pretty big brain stuff. ERC 6551. So, if in the future, if we want to seriously expand on the Gotchi Pocket, I think something like this is the way to go, because there is an EIP for it. There's already quite a lot of tooling built around it, and it would make sense to use what's already out there. So yeah, I think Tuan, the work he's doing with the Gotchi banking system works great for ERC20s, because that's what the wallet is built for, kind of. But if you wanted to expand that, this would be a cool thing to look into.
Yeah, I was telling Twan the next step with the whole Gotchi Bank is to work out a deal with like a DEX of some sort, so we can natively stake tokens inside of the Gotchi for yield.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Like what, LP tokens?
Yeah, or like yeah, I guess LP tokens.
Yeah. It reminds me of the proposal recently. I think Ace brought it up. Something I got it on my to-do list as well. We're going to be talking soon, making a prop about basically the collaterals of the gotchis, allowing us to free them on Polygon, and basically decide, do we want to replace them with Ghost on Polygon, or just let them be empty on Polygon. And on Geist, I think there's a lot of stuff we can do with the Gotchi collateral, in denominated in Ghost, because I think it's not, I wouldn't say it's like a mistake of this project, but something where we could have had a much more interesting like flywheel, and I think there's a lot of room for improvement, changing that collateral and allowing it to be a token focused on our own ecosystem, like the Ghost token, working that token into the Gotchi itself, and like becoming its actual spirit force, and then having that become like a yield bearing spirit force that actually gives decent yield. I think there's a lot of potential there. So look out for that prop, friends. Obviously, we want to respect the core idea of Aavegotchi as a yield bearing kind of crypto pet or crypto companion. And actually, we want to build on that idea more, because it's like one of the most interesting uh, aspects of the project, and also one of the easiest to communicate to people. When people, when you talk about like, this is my yield bearing crypto pet, it's a very cool value prop. So we actually need to lean into that even more. I think we can have the gaming side is great for generating content and generating ways to generate yield. But at the end of the day, like that yield, if that yield can go back to the gotchis, that really makes it like a clear value prop for people. So that's doing a lot of thinking on that, and want to move that forward on Geist as well. Geist is kind of view it as a full, or not a full reboot, but it's kind of a renewal of the ecosystem. So really, we want to position ourselves in the right way for the long term, and continue growing our community here. But we've always been a little bit on the complex side, which is fine, but we also need to figure out a way to make it like very simple, so simple anyone can understand it, while also having like a lot of depth.
Yeah, yeah. And you're suggesting that there's a potential play here with staking Ghost, or using Ghost with gotchis more directly, and
Yeah.
that's the intuitive part, right? They should go together.
Yep. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. We
Yeah.
we didn't do that because we were working, and we are still working with Aave, but they don't really need our A tokens staked anymore. They've got $20 billion in TVL, so I think Aave's made it. Now I want to focus a little bit more on our ecosystem and how can we get $20 billion of TVL?
Well said. Well said.
It also feels like we're going to need to have a conversation about the DAO potentially getting a DAO owned gotchi to stake all of our rarity farming rewards
Yeah,
in there so we get yield natively. That would be pretty cool.
yeah, gotchi or gotchis maybe. Yeah,
What I missed there, I didn't catch the point. No future. Sounds interesting though.
Well, if you switch Spirit Force, that ghost now goes in the gotchi, and you can earn a yield on that ghost. The DAO, has such a substantial holding of ghost, it would make sense then to then take that ghost and stake it in a gotchi to get yield from the protocol natively.
That's pretty cool. I see facts in the chat calling it the Daogachi. Yeah. Yeah, very
I'm
interesting.
surprised we haven't. I mean, honestly, it would make sense to me. Maybe there's like a conflict here in this thought, but like, I'm surprised the DAO hasn't bought gotchis to earn rarity farming rewards off of. I feel like that makes sense. It seems like it might be weird, but like, I feel like that would make sense.
maybe it's our issue that we have when we go into the marketplace. Everyone tries to uh, inflate the prices when Pixelcraft wants to buy something. The DAO might have an even tougher time with that.
Yeah, having a multi-sig decide on a gotchi. Well, the DAO going through a core prop, sig prop, core prop on which gotchi to buy, and then the multi-sig, and the gotchi's gone 3 weeks before the whole process is even finished. It'd be
Yeah.
fun to go through.
No, I think there could be for sure DAO owned gotchis in this way, but I don't really see them outperforming uh, actively more actively managed gotchis. It'd be tough.
Uh, Weird question. I don't know if this is actually if you can answer this, but do we know like roughly how much collateral, like the value of the collateral that's currently locked in all the existing Aavegotchis?
Yeah, there's I haven't looked at the exact numbers, but if you do the math, like we have the maximum would be, well, not the maximum, but uh, a good average would, if every ghost had 100 USD worth of collateral, that would be around 1.8 million. Some of them have more than that, and a lot of them have less than that. So it would be interesting to know those exact numbers. I would estimate somewhere probably from 1 to 2 million USD worth of collateral.
Yeah, I thought I remembered hearing. I mean, maybe it was so long ago. There was someone had a gotcha with like $600,000 of like Aave or something in it, like a
Yeah,
huge bag.
I think it might have been Stanny or Mark or someone. So if yeah, those are like the outliers. We actually need to look at the. I was actually working on a side project a while back to make a dashboard, but ended up having some. It's a lot of data to load dynamically, but that would be a good dashboard to have for sure, and something we need to. If we're going to be retiring the collaterals, it's not as high priority, but it's definitely before we make the call on what to do with those collaterals. I think it's a script we need to write and get that data back. Not too hard to do in a script, but to make a dashboard for it is a little bit more setup and overhead.
So I have a question for you, Coder Dan, because famously a couple years back, you gifted your wife a gotchi with half a Bitcoin in it. Do you think you would withdraw the Bitcoin, or have her? Or do you think she would withdraw the Bitcoin and swap it for Ghost, or still hold it in there?
And yeah, that wasn't the only time I did that. I've done that a few times with
Oh wow.
with her. It's on her birthday. I usually try to gift her some Bitcoin. So she's stacking more Bitcoin than I have probably. But I think at that point, we would just take the collateral requirement is only 25 to 50, all the way up to 100 USD worth of ghost or worth of collateral. So it's not like a big amount. We're not saying that if you pulled that collateral out, you'd have to convert it all to ghost. You would only, if there was a conversion requirement, it would only be for the amount in that collateral that's required by the gotchi to exist. So like 25, 50, or 100. Anything else above that, you could just withdraw. But I don't know what she'd do with it. She'd probably keep it in Bitcoin.
I love that. We have another Dan. This is Sugar Dan now. And also, friends, reminded me, be on the lookout. There was a fake Coder Dan messaging people this week.
Yeah.
I did not get the message, but I've seen some other people post that they were getting messages from a faker Dan. So just keep your eyes out.
Yeah, they're not actually in the server. Just they're adding people randomly. They must have a mole or something in this server, and then just getting usernames to add people. Tonya, we need to. Where's that list? We need to make an AI list of all the Dans, and have gotchis represented by them, and just have them talk to each other and interact with each other. Yeah, nice. We have a doc. Sweet. But yeah, so what's people's thoughts on? There's been a little bit of discussion on it. What's everyone's thoughts on removing collateral versus swapping it out for Ghost on Polygon? We should be able to start moving this convo soon, forward soon. There's just been a lot of work on the chain side.
I mean, I like the idea of swapping it to Ghost because then we lock up a whole bunch of Ghost. And you were talking roughly like 1.8 million, say, was the collateral that we're estimating in the gotchis. That's a nice little chunk of our circulating supply that would then be in the gotchi. So that would be great for price action, even though we don't talk about that. On the other hand, the worry I have is that if we remove the collateral completely, we're going to see the floor dip, which isn't a
Mm-hmm.
huge deal. Like it's not a great deal. It means I can get better deals on gotchis. But I could see why some people would be concerned with that. But I
Yeah.
don't see it being I don't think it's like a deal breaker. It's not like a system. It's not going to, alter the whole ecosystem like drastically by implementing this kind of change.
Yeah, I'm like when you bridge the gotchi to Geist, would we want to lock the Ghost? Bridge it back to Polygon and like I guess sacrifice it on Polygon. The alternative would just be to let you pull it all out. Basically, we could remove the collateral when you go to bridge your gotchi, so you wouldn't even have to do anything. You could remove it before that, but basically the bridge contract when you bridge to Geist can just say, okay, we're going to pull all the collateral out, send it back to you, and then we're going to bridge your gotchi over, and it would arrive on Geist with the SVGs and stuff wouldn't change, but it wouldn't have any spirit force in it yet.
It'd be waiting for Ghost or whatever we wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a nice UX that's just automatically done because I think that's the main issue. Is like, oh, I got to go do A, B, C. But if it's all one motion, that takes the UX concerns away at least. Seems like a lot of people liking the idea of saying, hey, your gotcha needs to hold some Ghost. it's almost like combining these two asset classes into one. Like the ghost gets locked up,
Yeah.
the gotchi gets imbued with ghost, and the value of both should be moving in the right direction together. Definitely aligning them.
When you guys say swap current collateral for Ghost, you mean so? Yeah, there's one kind of detail here, which is a lot of the old Aave collaterals are like Aave V1, and they're on Ethereum. So it's a little bit tricky to get them back. You can get them back. You just got to bridge back to Ethereum and get them on Aave like V1. So there's an argument that says, well, some that it's not worth it if you're going to pay $10 in gas to get it back on Ethereum because there's not enough liquidity because it's like a deprecated DeFi pool. Like you can't really you can the only way to get those collaterals back is to redeem them on Aave V1. Yeah,
Yeah, I would
I agree, Phantasma. Someone had the idea, maybe it was you, to have the basically the DAO like uh, swap those tokens with the owners, and then the DAO could, or or Pixelcraft or someone could do it and go back and convert them on mainnet. That would be a little bit easier approach. So yeah, we'll think about it a little bit more, but I want to get a prop out here fairly soon because this migration is going to happen most likely, in early to mid November.
Yeah, this might be asking for too much, but I would love a mechanism where if I decide, like, say I have a Dai Gotchi and I want to withdraw the collateral and add Ghost into it, maybe you can add a fee. I'd be willing to pay a small fee to like then have my Gotchi become a Ghost Gotchi, like representative, like how like my Dai Gotchi has the D on its head to
Mhm.
have a a ghost gotchi, like almost, I don't want to call it a haunt 3, but we've kind of like floated out that idea of like ghost collateral gotchis. So like to be able to actually have that visually represented on the gotchi if I like paid a fee for that, or like like a forge mechanism of some sort.
I want to do that, but the Gotchi has to have 10,000 ghosts in it to get that privilege. Like that should be a special thing that you can get, I think, or maybe 10,000 is too much, but have like some way to earn that for your Gotchi. Get enough ghost in it. That'd be pretty baller to walk around with a ghost Gotchi. Golden Cross, you were saying uh, that whichever collateral is the most would we could determine the SVG based on that, but we're not going to really have collaterals on Geist.
Yeah, and then you have to make sure, like, what if the price is dipping on what was your top collateral, and then suddenly
Right.
it's not? It'd have to be updated all the time. So kind of tricky, depending how you scope it. But yeah, a pathway to ghost gotchis would be pretty sick. That would be cool.
Yeah.
We
Well,
got
here's the thread, friends. Oh, I don't know why I linked
oh
to
yeah.
that. Here's the thread if you want to put some thoughts in. We're taking in all the comments from everyone right now, trying to figure out the best solution. But we do want to release the collaterals somehow as we're going on to Geist here. So I think it's the right time.
Yeah. For me, I'm more interested in the unsummoned gotchis, the portals that remain, and how we deal with that. I wish we could improve the friction there and just be like, hey, just click open instead of go find this A token, and then you can have the
Yeah.
1 of the 10 that you really want. It's like, oh man. So being on Geist, those tokens may not even be available, but the portal, I would like to be able to open it on Geist. So just depends, but that's for more the onboarding of new gotchis. Yeah, I see Thrax talk about the graveyard and the gotchiverse. We haven't done that yet, but it's definitely one of those that was like on the whiteboard. It's like just a way to document all the gotchis and actually visually represent, you know, how popular that's become. You would see like the
Yeah.
graveyard double in size overnight if we do the right campaign. So Twan, you did hop up. I know you said you were in between shuffling some stuff. Appreciate you hopping up. I'd heading into the Dow hour, but still would love to hear a bit about what you're working on.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Let me go ahead and share my screen. So I guess to preface everything, I'll start with I'm not a developer or a UI person, but I guess I sort of am now. Uh, No Future was the one that kind of turned me on to the idea that storing, tokens inside of a gotchi was possible. Even before like I understood how rarity farming, worked and how that gets put into the Aavegotchi's escrow pocket. Um, so basically, it kind of sent me down this rabbit hole of learning how it worked, seeing the current interface and how you can, withdraw the ghost. Um, I don't know if the new interface has a way to see your escrow wallet, but I was using the old interface where you can click it and it'll link to your Polygon scan escrow wallet for that gotchi, and you can kind of see the deposits and everything. So really just started diving in, gathering an idea of how it worked already, and then just started playing around with all of the AI tools that are available, from Claude to O1 Preview to Cursor, just playing around with all of them and trying to get an understanding of what could be possible. And No Future told me it was possible to put other tokens in there, so there just wasn't a UI to do it. So I just wanted to kind of start putting some puzzle pieces together, and that's basically what I did. So let me try to share this here. I think 1080p. So can you see there's just the top piece there where Aavegotchi Banking Services?
Yep, yep, I see that.
Perfect. So yeah, from here it's pretty straightforward. You just would connect your wallet, and then what it's going to do is basically check the wallet that's connected. For all of the Aavegotchi that are in that wallet. Um, Currently, it's set up. It'll just pull all Aavegotchi. So I've got some rented, some that are mine. Um, Thinking about it, kind of in the future, I don't even know if there's a point to show rented gotchis in this, being that obviously you can't withdraw from an Aavegotchi you don't actually own. Um, but basically, going down the rabbit hole, me getting the gotchis to display was a whole thing I had to learn. So getting them to display, and then I wanted a way to differentiate owned and rented. But the further I think about it, I don't even know if there's a point to it, for the rented Aavegotchi. But essentially, what will happen is the UI loads. You'll see this top one I do own. This one here I own. I got a new one actually that I talked about purchasing this morning. Um, and what's cool about this is it'll show the escrow wallets right here where you can just copy it. And then, if I wanted to go to MetaMask, I could go here and just deposit straight into the Gotchi's escrow account. I could make a cool deposit interface, but it would be my understanding that that would require token approvals from the wallet that's connected. And this whole thing relies on the diamond contract and all of the cool facets that are set up to interact with, and not really relying on any sort of approval. So I've kind of steered away from making a deposit part of it, because I think it's easy enough for you copy, you go to MetaMask, and there might I'm definitely open to ideas. There might be a better way to do that to where it can automatically maybe copy and send. Oh, hold on, go out there 1 second, baby. Um, but yeah, I'll just kind of run through. By default, obviously, we want to know how much Ghost is in there. So by default, you'll see the Aavegotchi's load. The token of choice is Ghost. If you hit max, it'll automatically poll all of your owned Aavegotchi, which, I've got 10 in this one. I've got 2 Ghost in this one. Hit withdrawal. It'll automatically start the withdrawal process. And then the next level part of it is the custom token. So from here, I guess I'll deposit some KEK so we can actually see the balances. here. Get the address. Or actually, I need to get the address of my escrow wallet. Because right now these don't have any. I don't have any custom tokens in there. So what I did was just copied the escrow wallet, and I'm going to send it some CAC. I'll send 200. And I'll go ahead put the address in here. Good.
We are gonna need to get to the DAO call here pretty soon.
Okay, perfect.
But,
Yeah, I'll wrap it up. I mean, you
This
basically
is a
get the
very
concept.
cool demo.
Yeah, you basically
Very
get the concept.
hackathon worthy here.
Yeah, that's why when you were mentioning the hackathon, I threw the
Yeah.
eyebrows out, or the eyes, because it's definitely up my alley.
Totally.
Yeah, I don't. For some reason, it doesn't look like CAC's working, but I can show. I do know this one should work. I've did so many iterations of UI builds that anybody that's worked with AI, you know how easy it is to regress on something. But there you go. You see glitter. So these ones do have glitter in them already. And then what you can do from here is you could actually just hit max, and then it calculates. So this top one has 1,100 glitter. This one's got 100,000. So then it calculates, adds them together, and then you can hit withdrawal, and then you'll see it'll go through and actually withdraw the glitter. Yeah, that's going to drive me crazy that it's not working with Keck, because it should be set up to automatically, detect the token that you put in and pull the image, and of course, getting the image to pull was a whole deal in itself. But then yeah, you can switch back to Ghost. You'll see it switches, and then if you switch back to custom, it put the glitter address in. You see it shows 0. So yeah, it's a fully working withdrawal service. Definitely open to ideas, and that's really all I wanted to show it off for, was to get everybody's opinion and see where we could take it. And that's where the idea for the fakes, it's kind of a weird use case. I don't, like No Futures talked about some yield things, but like the use case, I guess, is kind of where I'm at with it now. Is I don't know how useful it actually is, other than like it's cool to be able to store tokens and possibly in the future other items within the gotchis. But yeah, thanks for letting me kind of show it off.
Thanks, man. Yeah, great work.
Thank you.